chief if you can get back out on the floor at some stage. The Americans also, they found their groove now in this team after a slow start.
Playing a little bit better, maybe not at the heights of some of the other teams' imports, but giving and delivering exactly what the Sharks need for victories.
Well, the visiting team, as I say, on the back of 3 wins out of their last 4, they absolutely bullied the Bulls. The Bulls were just about, well, I think they just about had the mascot playing for them, to be fair. There were so many players down on the roster. But these guys are getting some confidence, and the likes of Shane Timata, what a great example. He's just scoring buckets for fun.
Yeah, he's been great in transition, and that's where this team is at its best after getting stops and running the lane. And Jaden Bazant has really stepped on the scene as a top performer in those guard positions, the way he's shooting the basketball. But for me, the key really is DeAndre Daniels. If he can play up to his level of expectation, that really changes the ceiling for this Jet squad.
Yeah, and he is starting to show signs of that, isn't he? Going, I think, now at about 15.1 per game points production, but he can certainly stuff that stat sheet right across the board for the Manawatu Jets. If anything, depth, is that a question in a game like this? Is their bench as deep as Southland?
Yeah, probably not when it comes to true depth, but you look at the Southland team as well. The guys coming off are a lot of role players that do what they need to do well. But in recent weeks, I think coach for the Manawatu Jets, Tim McTammany, has really shortened that bench and decided to start depending on the guys that he knows he can depend on, and one of them is right there, Deshaun Knight.
Yeah, so they'll be looking to their starters to perform. I can tell you that for the Sharks, the starters will be Braden Inga, Alonzo Burton, Josh Cunningham, Dom Kelman-Porto, and Courtney Belger. And for the Jets, Shane Timata, DeAndre Daniels, Deshaun Knight, Jaden Bazant, and Jake McKinley comes into the starting 5. 20-year-old, and he's making quite an impact, isn't he?
Well, Jake McKinley has really changed his body on his upon his return from the States. He is looking like a man-child out there, and defensively he has been phenomenal, really shown the ability to play at a high level on that end. He needs to develop his offensive game just a bit, but has really given them an impressive weapon in its swing position on the defensive end.
These two teams have already clashed back on the 30th of May. That was a part of that 7-game winning streak for the Sharks. Obviously, they won that one 100-88. And from memory on that occasion, Alonzo Burton, I think, a veteran sharpshooter, fired up for 27 for the Sharks. He's one of those players that's a streaky shooter. If he gets going, look out. There's our officials for this one. The referees, Melanie O'Connor, Brad Clive, Taylor Amundsen. As we again see the role that women are playing in officiating in New Zealand basketball. Great to see 2 of the 3. We have already had an all-female officiating panel in the Sal's National League this year, so the pathway's there for any of the young girls watching. You want to be a referee, it's an opportunity to be engaged at the top level in the game.
Most definitely, and we're very dependent on these refs to play these games, and always appreciative, regardless of my comments while as a player or as a commentator.
Yeah, the refereeing happens despite Casey Frank. Don't know that you've got membership to that referees club just yet. Hey, have you voted, though, for the NBL Showdown with the upcoming sports awards? If anyone wants to vote for the Showdown as one of the sports properties that came out of the COVID situation, you can go to nz.basketball and get your vote in there. And why not? It was a great league, wasn't it, last year?
It certainly was, and the turnaround from having a full season to no league to getting that done in a very short amount of time was impressive, and a great chance for all the young players who decided to partake in the event.
Just looking always interested when the Sharks are playing to see what the colour scheme is for Dom Kelman-Porto. What's he gone with, Casey?
He's got some hot pink out there. That is a bold statement. He's out there stunting on these boys tonight. I don't know, he's going to have to bring the game to back up that hairstyle, certainly.
Well, if that's a challenge he's given himself, it's working, because he is really settling into his groove this season, as we knew he could and likely would. But he's emerging, isn't he, as a leader on this roster.
And I think he's become more comfortable in his skill set as well. I think the previous couple of years he's really tried to change his natural style of play, which is around the basket and really banging down low, to more of a shooter. But he's grown more comfortable with it. He can do, and you know, whatever you're doing, do that well. Don't worry about expanding beyond yourself until you actually have that skill set knocked down.
Well, this one could be a lot of fun, folks. Settle in as two teams that have certainly found a good and consistent ability to put the ball through the bucket. will go head-to-head here. The Jets, are they contenders, or recent results just been about pretending? They go for an outside look early on. That one comes up just a little bit short. And the Sharks will play with this home crowd behind them. And it is always a great show here in Invercargill. And certainly worth a few extra points for the Southland Sharks. That attempt to drive at the basket from Belger doesn't get the finish, though. Shane Tamata showing us that he can drop that triple, and that's a continuation of his very good form.
Jaden Bazant, penetration twice to create shots on the perimeter, really looking to exploit that edge of this game this evening.
Alonzo Burton this time drives the baseline. That's too easy. Not much defense put up there by the Jets.
Yeah, no weak side whatsoever. Jaden Bazant was caught higher than he needed to be in that help side position and paid the price, did the Jets.
There is Bazant, and he too, that's that high arcing shot of his. I'll tell you what, you could just show the second part of that and you'll know it's Jaden Bazant. It is such a high arc on his three ball.
He's got a moon ball for sure.
Kelvin Portzor, and that is his stock and trade. He'll do that all night long, leading the lane.
Poor defensive effort twice now by the Jets on the two buckets. They really got to lock down and communicate. A couple of miscommunications led to easy buckets.
Jets go inside looking for young McKinlay, but force back outside again. Good patient approach here, and now with the triple, it's Knights. That one's a little too heavy.
Bazant penetration again, create an opportunity, but got to knock down these open jumpers.
Mismatch here. Chance for the Sharks to pick up an easy bucket, and wanted the foul. Having a chat was Josh Cunningham.
Strong defense by Jaden Bazant. Mismatch, however, really physically stood up to the challenge.
Knights. Almost a hint of a little travel there, but might have wished the travel was called before he got the shot up, McKinley. It wasn't pretty. Little turnaround jumper, no good from Braden Inger.
Both teams feeling each other out. Neither team really enforcing their will on this game just yet.
Knight going looking in amongst some tall timber, no good. Inger comes away with it. Now Alonzo Burton, that little hesitation. You've got to get out there and get a hand in front of Burton on that three-point line. Cunningham, and again the mismatch. This time he makes it pay.
Third defensive miscommunication into half court, not matching up on the guys that they want to, and that makes it for an easy post move there by Cunningham.
Bazant, that's good. That's good. On the previous penetrations, not looking to shoot, but then he mixes it up.
Well, he's taking what the defense gives him. That time they didn't stop him on his way to the rim, so he finishes in a beautiful left-handed reverse. Cunningham
this time with the bigger frame of McKinlay. No issues, though, for Cunningham.
Cunningham's come out and looking to get involved early as we have that fast break opportunity for the Jets. And DeAndre Daniels gets pinged for the foul there. He's just reaching over the back.
Is that our first foul, Casey? I think it is. Effectively the first stoppage.
It will be the first of many, I'm sure.
It's a good little 3.5 minutes, though, to get the lungs working. Burton. Jets organised here on this defensive set. Kelvin Porto, though, you just cannot give this guy any room in the paint.
He's become so efficient this season, scoring around the basket. And if I was Rob Beveridge, I'd be giving him the ball every other possession down there.
And with the rebound, as Southland with a nice little cushion here early in this one, but as I say, you get the home fans in behind them with Cunningham. I think he was waiting for some contact. Did McKinley get under the body?
He got a lot of contact. He got undercut. That's got to be a foul. Don't know how McKinley got away with that one.
He just got under his hips, didn't he? And certainly put him off on the way up and collected him on the way down. Referees, if they're going to call it that way, all the players will ask is for consistency. Again, the Jets have got to do something here to stop this.
Well, they've turned into a little bit of an offensive team as of late, but defensively on the road, this amount of resistance is just not going to get it done.
Cunningham has got away to a really strong start, and that's despite a couple of misses already. And So this time the whistle is blown. The foul going to be called here, I think, on Belger.
Deshaun Knight can really enforce his will on the game in a victory on the road against the Nelson Giants last week. He truly played well, along with Bazan in that backcourt, Daniels up front. Those three were the keys to victory, as they will be anytime the Jets get a W.
Yeah, well, this guy at the free throw line right now, his numbers are impressive, going at 22.3 points per game. He's also dishing off 5 assists per game, so he's bringing his teammates into a conversation when required. Jets need a stop. They need just to see a little improvement at this defensive end of the floor. Sharks are showing a lot of patience. Cunningham over Timata.
Well, he's really finding his form early. He's allowed to get comfortable with a couple of post moves on mismatches, and now just takes that jump shot as Deshaun Knight weaves his way into a foul on Cunningham, and that's one way to slow him down, getting him out of the ball game by attacking him on the defensive end. As we have a timeout.
Chance for the respective coaches to just have a chat for the first time since this one got underway, and perhaps going according to script at the moment. Jets relying on their offensive late, Casey, as you've said, but it's not going to get you the job done on the road, is it necessarily? You can maybe try and run and gun and win a game 110, 108 at home, but I'm not sure about down here in Southland.
But I was really impressed with the Jets a week ago in Nelson. Went down multiple times by double figures and really stuck with their game plan, stuck with their mindset, and were able to overcome those deficits multiple times to get the victory in a very difficult place to get a win on the road. So Southland, I think, a little bit more ominous than the Trafalgar Center this year. Packed house, a team that's playing great basketball, but they're not out of the woods yet. They've got to continue play at the level they're playing at and hope that the Jets don't find any of those answers on the defensive end.
So just looking for any changes. This is interesting. Certainly Sharks are rolling with their starters. You can see McCulloch's on the floor here for the Jets, so this might be an indication as to pretty short rotations tonight, perhaps, Casey, for both rosters.
I'd expect Rob Beveridge to go a little bit deeper, but the Jets got to play the hand that was dealt them.
McCulloch inside.
Called for the travel. Got a little apparently happy feet. Looked like a good fake, and apparently did not keep his feet. Back down in transition quickly. Inger, he has found that stroke from deep as of late.
Yeah, I mean, basketball people will have known, and Rob Beveridge will have known what he was recruiting, but arguably at the moment Inger's given them a little more than might have been expected. Settled into life back in New Zealand. Oh, on the fast break. That was not an easy take and finish from Cunningham.
Transition defense out and running, and right back at you is Deshaun Knight. On the other end, and we're off to the race on both ends. Both teams need to do a better job of finding that ball handler, stopping him early, and not letting those passes go over the head. But the Sharks doubling up the Jets already.
Coming, Porto. Inger. The right hand hook gets the lucky bounce, the shooter's roll. Call it what you will, it went in. Mikhail McCulloch plays a lot of 3x3 basketball. He can shoot that three if given a little too much latitude. McKinley turn, shoots too much on that. They're missing some reasonable looks here, the Jets.
And they're really not executing anything to get those looks. Playing a lot of one-on-one basketball here in the first. Solid defense there by Deshaun Knight on Belger to take away an easy opportunity.
McCulloch open again under the basket, so
the over-the-head bounce pass from Deshaun Knight. Rarely seen, but effective in this case.
A pass I've seen it. Well, I feel like it's more often than I have over recent years, but it's almost the little halfback pass coming into the game. You pick that up a couple of times, and teams are on a fast break sort of play.
Whatever works.
Good defense there from Cunningham. He's made the adjustment, stayed in front. Fight for the rebounds, and it's a scramble, and eventually it's that man with that hair.
Tough to pick out of a lineup. I hope he doesn't commit any crimes.
Inga made one from the other corner. He says, I fancy this side as well.
He has just been on a tear. Had a beautiful game against the Taranaki Mountaineers a few weeks ago, and it's been on fire ever since. Kinlay lets the three fly. Can't get it. Open looks for the Jets, go wanting again.
Okay, this is the sound of the charge, and this is starting to get a little out of control now for the Jets.
The Sharks are having their way early. The defensive resistance has not been up to the level that it needs to be on the road against a quality squad.
Tamata goes inside, tries to settle things down. They need stops at the other end, though, trailing by 13.
But I'm concerned if I'm Coach Tim McTavish, just not a lot of execution yet. No execution on the defensive end as Bulger gets straight to the rim with no resistance whatsoever off the on ball.
And still very few changes made here. We're starting to see players breathe a little heavily. And perhaps looking forward to a breather here at the end of the first quarter. And that is either a very tired play or a play of a very confident player.
That's a heat check there. He's feeling good. He's letting it go. You're up 15. Why not let it fly?
Knight gets to his shooting spot.
He loves that mid-range game off the penetration from the top. But that's the third possession in a row where only one player has touched it for the Jets. They need to move the ball.
And that certainly is in Alonzo Burton's wheelhouse, but he's unable to make the three. To the final 30 seconds or so, just not dropping for the Jets. And now, look at the pace dropping here now. Dom Kelman Porto says, let's just settle it down. Cunningham for Burton. Yeah, and 1 out of 2. Yeah, he will go 50% from 3, especially with that sort of an open look.
Defense just not good enough. Got to challenge a shooter like him to put the ball on the floor. Too much room.
Tamata almost back-to-back buckets from the same spot of hardwood from him. But that is a first quarter that has the alarm bells ringing, if not the sirens, and the escape routes lighting up here for the Manawatu Jets, because they're in a hole. It's the Southland Sharks that have started much the stronger of the two, and you don't want to let this team get too comfortable at home in front of this crowd.
Too late for that. They might as well be cuddled up in front of a fire down south watching a movie on Friday night. They are as comfortable as they could be. 31 points in the opening quarter, and just not a lot of resistance from the Jets.
So 31-17, Sharks in front. So the game plan for the Jets, Casey Frank, maybe not completely thrown away here, but certainly they must be on plan B or C already. What's Coach McTavish saying to them? What are the adjustments that you've seen they need to at least try and make?
Well, firstly, they've got to get a little fortitude on the defensive end. Right now, the Sharks are driving when they want to drive, open looks when they want to look. They're completely determining the action on that end. On the offensive end, if I'm Coach Tim McTavish, I want to see that ball go through hands. I want to make this defense move and adjust to where the basketball's at before I attack. The one-on-one basketball is not the answer. They're going to have to play with a bit more strategy on both ends if they hope to try and claw their way back into this one. .14 margin
And after one quarter, I'm sure many of you at home have already done the math that they're staring down perhaps the concession of a record score here. I know it doesn't always work out that way, but the Jets themselves posted the highest offensive number in the South National League this season with that 118 in the big win over the Bulls. But if they continue to open up here down the paint, then they're in big trouble, and that's just good luck for the Jets. Kelman Porto is going to make that 9 times out of 10. A couple of changes now too. Here's Hilu off the bench, and the big no thank you from DeAndre Daniels.
Toby Galuli created that opportunity with the steal in transition. And Johnny Hilu, who Rob Beveridge is a big fan of, using his Jets to get to the hole. But the Jets showed him a little power of their own with Daniels' block. Yeah,
Hilu will bring energy. It's been his go-to, if you like, off the bench. Kelman Porto from long range does not catch any iron at all.
Jaden Bazant with a 2-on-4 essentially. I think the Sharks have gotten so comfortable they let the defense slip a bit.
Hilu kicks it out. Back in they go again to Kelman Porto. He loses the handle. Who comes up with this in the scramble? Inga. Shot clock counting down. Good composure, but for the moment, Sharks have just lost their ability to finish here in the opening 71 seconds of the second quarter.
Well, it looks like the Sharks are sort of meeting the opposition level of play right now. They came out, executed really well in that first quarter, but that execution has dropped so far in the second.
Galuli just gets a hand in there. So Bazant will collect this again. It's just a little more urgency to get over the half court. A little stumble. Knight. And good pass and a good cut on the baseline.
Oh, Deshaun Knight using that penetrating ability to create an opportunity for Daniels. Always move without the basketball. It looks like that.
Hilu, he is just non-stop. Oh, that's nice. That is energy. And if Knight wasn't ready on the scout, he should have been. That is Johnny Hilu.
Deshaun Knight turns around and looks, where is my help side? I forced him under the basket. Somebody's got to be in the middle of the key to dissuade that attempt.
Bazant starting to play a little bit of one-on-one type stuff, but Bazant's capable of that, knowing perhaps he needs to take that scoring responsibility. Kelman Porto, that's strong, just brushing Bazant away, the much smaller man.
Well played on ball action there, but once again the weak side help not apparent.
Deshaun Knight right back at you.
So few possessions from the Jets are really forcing the Sharks to do anything. An easy shot there because of poor defense once again.
Inga working inside. Good defense though. Well played, Ashton McQueen. Daniels, he threw to the basket. I was about to say and the and one, but did not get the layup to drop.
Hopeful thinking. I think Tim McTammany was hoping for the same thing, but a nice attack in transition. They're finding a lot of effort and intensity in the transition game before the Sharks get set, but in the half court, things have stayed pretty difficult.
Well, for Coach McTammany, this is what he will have asked for, is better intensity, better focus on the defensive end of the floor, and start putting the ball through the hoop and just stay in the contest. They were down by 14. They've taken 4 out of that lead, so good start to the quarter.
Here we go. Oh, look at that.
Picking the pocket, DKP.
I was about to say that the Sharks have really stopped executing, but they get a lucky play there because DKP doesn't give up on the play, gets himself another opportunity.
Too aggressive there, Tom Cowie.
Tom Cowie is can make himself a nuisance on the defensive end, and that's exactly, yeah. Pest seems so bad. I don't like Pest makes it seem like a bad thing. You want to be a nuisance on the defensive end, but Pest, that I feel like when because Hugh Boehner was trying to call Ashton McQueen a pest the other day, and I think that's a lack of skill to be a pest. If you're a pest, you're just like a gnat. You're trying to get blown away.
Yeah, it's perhaps the opposition referencing you as a pest might be a term of endearment. But I hear you, Casey. Here is that man, Cowie, the offensive end of the floor this time. Nice article focusing on Tom Cowie and his enjoyment in working with coach Rob Beveridge. And Rob Beveridge will have enjoyed that, seeing that finish from Helu.
A lot of one-on-one basketball, and just penetrators having their way on both ends.
And the Jets continue to hang around here, just down by 10. So resisting the threat of a blowout early on in this, if they can keep it at single figures going into the half, as DeAndre Daniels with the block. But
actual help side.
Galuli got it back and shoots the 3 ball. And Daniels has picked up the intensity, responding, isn't he, after the quarter-time break. Tamata inside, good pass, recognized that his way to the basket was blocked.
Their best offense has been in the quick transition game. That way, the secondary run by Daniels created another opportunity here.
Well, I reckon timeout might not be too far away. Sometimes it's fairly predictable, isn't it? When a team goes on a run, you just sense Rob Beveridge was going to call a halt.
And Bazant went into the table there at the end. Might have knocked his head a little bit after scoring the layup, but nice job by the Jets. I don't really think it's, to be fair, of their own production, but more a lack of intensity that came out by the Sharks there in that second quarter. 33 points, 34 points to start the game in that first quarter. Have not really got firing since the break has resumed, but the Jets 16 points already here in the second.
Yeah, 31-17 it was at the first quarter break. So certainly the Jets have continued to score at a good clip, but they've just tightened things up a little. As you say, the Sharks have helped by missing a few of those. I don't know, maybe Casey, you said they're as comfy as can be. Maybe that old C word creeps in, the complacency.
Most definitely. I think they did get comfortable. They stopped executing on the offensive end, and their defensive effort has dropped as well. We're seeing a lot of turnstile defense on those drives to the rim. Rob Beveridge has called the timeout, and this is very similar to what the Manawatu Jets have been able to do on the road, most notably against the Nelson Giants, where they found a way to keep getting back in the game, keep getting in the game. And if you let this team hang around, they can find a way to steal it at the end. Right now, that's where this game's trending.
You called that game, right, against the Giants? So they certainly showed some ticker in that one. And on occasion, they might have been out of the contest. Galuli, not a great display of three-point shooting so far, and we've seen a few in the Sal's National League so far this season. And that one rattles around and falls from just beyond the free throw line.
It's the three-point stroke. When the Sharks are shooting that, they are a very vastly different team offensively.
Daniels wasn't the easiest of finishes, but he found a way, and they continue to not only stick around, but they've closed that gap right down. 6 points the margin. Cunningham shoots the 3 ball. Not a whole lot of offense going on, but when it drops, you get away with it.
Well, they're taking the looks as they come, and the execution of the plays is dropped.
Again, good pass, good finish. DeAndre Daniels is a huge factor in this.
It's the friendly roll, and he's really moving well without the basketball, making himself a target on his guard's penetration.
Cunningham with Tamata in close. Oh, pretty move. Absolutely sold him the dummy, and then had an unattended basket. What's the call here? Cunningham with the block on Knight, and I think they've gone with the game arrow. Called a
jump ball there, no possession of either team as he went up and came down with it. Solid defense. And Cunningham is really playing well now. 15 points already on 7 for 10 from the field. He is shooting the ball well and has really been a driving force for the Sharks lead here in the first half.
It's an interesting rotation. We saw the starters pretty much play the first quarter for the Sharks, and we've now seen the likes of Toby Galuli play the majority of the second quarter here, so not sure this is a normal rotation. Coaches do get set in their ways a little bit, don't they, Casey? They'll know when they're going to bring a guy in and out of a game, or in your experience, will they just change it up and go with what's in front of them?
All depends on the coach, really. You know, some coaches like to come to the gym and have a feel for things. Others stick it to the book that they wrote and don't buy from that. Certainly, a coach needs to read the game and see who's playing well, but yeah, I think both these coaches are more apt to ride the hot hand and stick with a predetermined roster change.
Burton tried to go to work, was shut out. Inga does that in the paint. That's nice.
Shows some nice footwork on the interior. He's such a good three-point shooter. Doesn't get a lot of opportunity down there, but took advantage this time.
DeAndre Daniels has been their go-to guy inside and now out.
And he is really scoring the basketball well. Right now, he's up to 13 points, I believe.
Burton looking to respond. He's found the range once from the land of plenty. Deshaun Knight.
Jets have a sniff. They're going to start arcing it up and picking up that level of intensity.
And that's a good screen, wasn't it, by Tamata in front of Knight.
Well, a good job of reading the defensive mismatch. He had the big fella Inger on him, so he took him straight to the hole. No help because of that wayward screening on the interior.
Belger, little hesitation. Didn't get rid of Tamata, though, on that occasion. Giluli asking for the contacts.
There's not a lot being called on the touch fouls. Teams are both going to have to adjust.
Bazant puts the afterburners on. Giluli, though, says, gets a piece of that.
Not an easy block guarding the ball to take that one out as he heads to the bench. And the Sharks will go back with their full starting lineup now to close this one out in the first half.
Jets need to stay focused here. Final 2.5 minutes of the second quarter. Do not undo the good work of the first 7.5 minutes. Got themselves right back into the contest. Knight comes up short. Cunningham, a couple of handoffs here for Belger. Ignores the third. Kelman Portal back with Belgian now. Just probing. Great pass.
Really nice on ball once again. And it's a couple of times that Kelman Portal has been the recipient because of his good rolls and strength to the rim.
McCulloch. Manawatu with their starters out there, barring Jaden Bazant, who gets a breather at the moment. And from the corner, and here they come again. They close into that lead, now just down to 3 points.
Shane Temera receiving the ball well in the corner there.
Kelman Portal had his feet set. Couldn't make the bucket. Oh, this is a remarkable turnaround in the second quarter. Crowd has to be engaged, but for different reasons. DeAndre Daniels, bank it home. He'll take it.
He will. He did not call it by any stretch of the imagination, but if you can get tied up at 50 with a minute left after the half they've had, you will certainly take that one to the bank.
Burton, a little gun shy from the top of the key. Cunningham. Import on import, and it's, I was going to say the Sharks man that wins out, but it thought about it and said, I'm not going to go down on this occasion. DeAndre Daniels for Knight into the paint. Oh, he gets another look. That's good fortune, but that perfectly sums up the way this game's turned around. The Jets take the lead.
The activity has really picked up here in the second quarter by the Jets. They've gotten a sniff, a little bit of chum in the water, and they're circling these Sharks.
Cunningham. Sharks having to change their mindset in a hurry, and Inga on the curl, no good. He too almost into the
gotta read the
tables.
clock. What are you doing? You gotta read the clock. You took away an opportunity for the last shot. Now the Sharks get it.
And it's a foul.
That just drives the coach crazy. They got the ball back with 16 seconds left there and went for a really loose, fast break instead of just slowing it down, ensuring that they were going to go into halftime with the lead. Could have expanded on it. Instead, their loose style of play comes to bite them just a bit there at the close here of the first half.
Inga will go to the line, shooting 2. Since you highlighted Jaden Bazant heading into the front row for a free burger and a drink, it's been 2 or 3 occasions where players have just collected the signs. In a way, Casey, I wonder if they think the sign's going to stop them, but of course they just, the cork they just give way and they go crashing on through.
There's some of those signs look pretty tight, pretty tight to the court side there. Not a lot of space, but hey, the sponsors must love it.
And the league loves the sponsors too. Sal's National League presented by GJ Gardner Homes, and presenting a really close, enthralling, intriguing and very changeable half of basketball. It was the Sharks who had the lead 31-17 at the end of the first quarter, but it's the Sharks who shake their heads, if not in dismay, but in a bit of confusion here, because they go to the break and they are down by 1. The Jets have fired up here. We'll be back in a moment to analyse the halftime stats.
Prepare yourself for a broadband service simply made to entertain. Sky Broadband has arrived.
So what are you waiting for? If you want lightning-fast Wi-Fi that'll keep you entertained, with great coverage for your home, amazing Kiwi service at a super snazzy price, then welcome to Sky Broadband. That's my part, I do that. Sorry, that's okay.
That mission sees them top of the table. A first home final since 2003 is on the card.
What a run, what a try!
Be ready if you stay ready. Ready and now we're coming for top spot, let's see.
Blues Force from the Gardens. Saturday live, Sky Sport 1. Coverage brought to you by Bunnings Warehouse.
Growing up and being a white, lanky ginger kid, I learned pretty fast not to take myself too serious.
Go inside the 4 walls of the Blues Big Red.
Mate, that's not a bit light.
From Monday
Usually always naked on board too.
to game day.
I badly want to win a title, a Super Rugby title for this Blues team. Back in the Garden of Eden, how good. Let's go out there and have some fun, eh?
All Access, Tom Robinson. Friday, Sky Sport 1. It's game on for the second slam of 2021.
How good is that?
Contested on the iconic clay courts of Paris.
Oh, wonderful!
Who will bring the power?
Oh, my goodness!
And the passion? Roland Garros, live Sky Sport.
Do they have that capability?
It rests on your shoulders.
Welcome to Gut Check Time, where it doesn't matter if you've already done it or if you're just getting started. Because it's either get one step closer to trophy time or just time to go home. Only time will tell.
Welcome back at half-time here, and a little bit of Neil Diamond ringing around the stadium. Well, I think it's Neil Diamond. The Jets by 1. The Jets by 1. Casey Frank on the back of a 35-point second quarter. What do you got for the Sharks, though, in that first half?
They start off really well, but as that second quarter, their defensive intensity dipped. They allowed 35 points to the Jets, but led from the front was Josh Cunningham. He has 17 points and 3 rebounds and shooting an excellent percentage. Backed up ably by Braden Inger with 11 points, but of course it's Courtney Belger. assists in the first half. Fantastic job by him as distributing. And they've got 15 assists on 24 buckets. You love to see that kind of sharing of the basketball, but they need to pick up their intensity that certainly dropped in that second quarter.
And for the Jets, is it your man Daniels that's getting them back in the game?
He's played really well. He's really shooting the ball at a high clip so far. He's got 13 points on 5 for 8 shooting, but it's led from the front by Deshaun Knight, 7 for 10 from the field for 17 points, and his scoring has been electric. And Shane Temura, not to be forgotten, 12 points, including that big 3 in the corner.
So we got a game on here, folks. It's ILT Stadium Southland. Stay with us. Second half action coming up next.
Checkered flag at the ready. Scott Dixon wins back-to-back years and wins at Texas Motor Speedway for a 5th time.
Well done, Scott. Great job.
Kia ora, Scott Dixon here. Follow me in IndyCar live on Sky Sport.
It was a brutal defeat at the hands of the Brumbies.
And it is away!
But the boys head home for the last time this year. Making the final will be tough, but in this competition, anything can happen.
There's no limit, no we cannot stop for this. Yeah, can't stop. Nah, won't stop. Yeah, it's been on live. You don't believe it, just watch.
Hurricanes, Reds, Friday Live, Sky Sport 1. Coverage brought to you by Bunnings Warehouse.
Get ready to... Because right now, if you refer a friend to Sky, you'll both get a $100 Sky account credit when they join.
What do we got? An idea.
You're such a team. Incredible.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Give your friend a big high five and go online or call us now for more info.
I'll do it. Ah!
Everything stayed home at John Florence finds some cover to come through this one. There he is, re-emerging.
Samoa comes around the corner and hooks it hard.
World Surf League live on Sky Sport. Your Warriors are ready to defy impossible.
In 2021, we're all in.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Make way. Make way. The entertainers unleashed. We are the new kings. Sound the alarm right now. And it's absolutely incredible.
The NRL Premiership, round 14, this weekend, live Sky Sport 4. Coverage brought to you by Bunnings Warehouse.
Welcome back. Sky Sports coverage of the Sales National League presented by GJ Gardner Homes, and it is a tight one. Didn't look that way early on. Jets and the Sharks. The Jets were getting blown away early, but they totally reversed their fortunes in the second quarter. And we talked about it pre-game, that the Sharks, we know, yes, they're championship quality. They're on a 7-game winning run. We know their history. Manawatu Jets don't have that recent pedigree. How much of that plays into the confidence levels of the two teams? Sharks know they've been there, done that. The Jets are still figuring it out to a degree.
Yeah, I don't know how many of these Sharks players have actually won titles. They might have the colors, but not too many of them actually suited up for those bad boys. And the Jets, a lot of new players that are trying to build something here, but I think it's the more recent form that would be giving both these teams either confidence or lack thereof. And both teams having played good basketball as of late should both be coming in. But the Jets have done this a couple of times this season. They look like they're coming in sleepy. They lull their opponent to sleep, and then they just start to throw a few haymakers that they did in that second quarter where they outscored the Sharks 35-20 after being outscored 14 themselves in the first quarter.
What sort of a halftime chat do you think it was from Rob Beveridge? Was it a more about wake up, fellas, or was it X's and O's? What do you think the message might have been?
Certainly a bit of both. I think their intensity dropped in that second quarter. They relaxed. They didn't play defensively to the same effort levels that they had in that opener. And then on the executional side, I think they slipped there as well. So you've got to match that intensity with a heads-up gameplay, and certainly get yourself out there and run the basketball. Don't get into the one-on-one game that the Jets want to play. You need to continue to execute, run your plays, and make them work. They're not as deep as you. For the Jets, only 6 players have scored. Nikal McCulloch with 2 points off the bench, and he's the only player off the bench who's even taken a shot. So they are really dependent on that starting 5.
Yeah, and dependent in minutes as well. And we knew that was going to be the case. But DeAndre Daniels, 20 minutes. He's played every second. Deshaun Knight, 19 minutes, 22. So, I mean, those guys, yes, they'll have the motor. Yes, they'll have the energy. But it does, at some stage, you pay a price, don't you, with minutes in the legs?
Well, especially when you're going against guys that are rotating a little bit fresher. But you look at the Sharks, they're not really getting a lot out of their bench either. 6 points for Johnny Heilu. Everybody else off the bench has not yet scored. A few more minutes. You know, they've gone 8 deep here in this one. A couple of guys played just under 5, Tom Cowie and Johnny Heilu, but Toby Galuli was 7.5. But both teams have shortened their bench, and the fans, as much as they like it, they might like the face painting more.
Yeah, and they do love it, and that's been one of the real features of the Sal's National League is the enjoyment, so just the absolute delight in being a part of a great night out, and so many of the clubs are doing just that. And so we see one of the mascots, young and old, and I'm not, you know, I'm digging a hole. I'm digging a hole.
What's going on there? You say you leave it alone. Somebody's going to come home, watch the replay, and catch themselves on TV called old. You're going to get what you get. But
they'll find your number before mine.
Always a great environment down in McCargill. The crowd comes out and certainly supports their team with a lot of fire and enthusiasm, but not a lot to cheer for in that second quarter. The Jets have done a nice job of taking the crowd out of it. The question is, can they continue to do it for the remainder of this ballgame?
Casey Frank, we're at about the halfway point of the regular season. What do you like? Who do you like? And what are your thoughts on some of the players coming in at this stage? I mean, some big names. Tom Vodanovich comes back, where Jordan Hunt is coming back into the league. Jared Kenny talked that he might play this weekend. How tough is that for a player coming back in at this stage of a season? Well,
I think for the guys coming from the Aussie NBL, it's not very tough. They're going to be in good shape. They're going to know what they're doing. They've been playing at a higher level of basketball than this, so they'll be well prepared. The toughest part about it is on the coaching staff and the players that are here who have to assimilate these guys into their teams and into the style of play they were doing with. You know, certainly that's not a problem if you're playing poorly. You can figure out ways to do it. But I look at that Hawks Bay squad that's bringing in Jared Kenny, that's going to bring in Jordan Hunter, that's going to bring in Jordan Hunt. you know, 3 guys who are starters that you're going to have to now find a way to get minutes for a team that had a lot of talent already. And when you look at the squad, certainly Wellington's at the top of the heap. They're looking like a favorite, not only for the Final Four, but for the title. But it's that Hawks Bay team that I really think is going to be a dangerous squad coming down the stretch.
Yeah, in contrast that, Jamie Reddish will be crying into his cup of tea tonight watching this and listening to that, because he's got a starting 5 out at the moment with the loss of a couple of imports, with Dane Brooks out with concussion. I mean, he's got players out of his team that anyone else would love to have. So contrasting fortunes at this critical juncture in the season. Kelman Fortsall, no whistle there. Wow.
Yeah, I think he avoided the contact, but DKP does a nice job of staying balanced and finds a way to get it up off. When you see Rob Beveridge go straight to his bread and butter, DKP in the post.
McKinley, little up fake, gets Singer.
That's a foul on the forearm there.
Not called.
Inger gets away with that one. McKinley didn't look super comfortable with that jump shot, though.
Yeah, and nice giving. Wow, okay.
Physical.
Yeah,
this is a physical game right now. That's a nice way of saying fouls.
And asking a question there of Shane Tamata, but he does have athleticism.
Deshaun Knight could have placed that a little bit easier for Tamata. He would have got the dunk, but 2 points is 2 points. I never thought that. That dunk's way better.
Thought it should have been worth more. And Alonzo Burton hasn't quite found his mojo tonight, but he can light it up at any stage. Daniels for Knight. Knight tries one from long distance. Maybe they like this end of the floor a little better. They extend that lead now, the Jets.
They share that basketball. And when they look so much better offensively when they get that ball moving through hands, make the defenders adjust.
Inga, little step back. Daniels with the rebound.
NZNBL gets to start things up. Let's see how many hands it goes through this time.
Kinlay. Daniels.
Down low.
Yeah, Burton's got a job to do here, and he was always second favorite.
Well, one of his teammates has to come and figure that out. You see Alonzo Burton on the big fella down low. You got to send a double to try and help him out. Instead, he just lets him go to town.
Belger, wow, that is not necessarily their option. That's not their go-to. Courtney Belger scoring points, full stop. Knight misses from one of his favorite spots, but Belger makes it, so that's okay. But he's more about the assist than he is about his own scoring production.
A couple of Sharks vying for the basketball at the same time, taking possession away from themselves. Just got to have that awareness of who else is going for the basketball with you.
I was talking about McKinlay earlier with when you thought Inga had fouled him. It's something the young players have to learn. They've got to help sell that, don't they? They've got to let the referees know. You can't just expect them to make the call all on their own.
That's not going to help. NZNBL shows the beautiful moon ball when he gets into the rim, and he's now in double figures with 10.
Belger. Sharks. They need to be awoken from their little slumber here. They're having a little mid-game nap. Knight. Bazant. Step back, and there is that high arcing shot. No good this time.
Good challenge by Inga there. He uses his length to really make it a difficult make.
Inside, Kelman Porto with the reverse, blocked by Daniels.
Such length Daniels has. He's got that advantage on DKP.
Zant shut down pretty quickly. Knight now. Well, he put it on the floor here against Kelman Porto. Steps back. Kelman Porto had a good hand there. And Inga comes down with the rebound.
When the Jets settle, they look just stagnant offensively. Need to keep moving that ball around. And same can be said for the Sharks at this point.
Kicked out for Inga, and that's nice. What's that, 3 triples now?
That's the penetration that was created by that. And he did a really nice job of creating an opportunity. Courtney Belger again picks up assist number 9.
Can quieten down any thoughts of a triple-double. I'm not sure he had a single rebound at the half, Courtney Belger, so he's racking up the assists, but not threatening the triple-double with either scoring or rebounding.
Well, he's got 5 now. He's only taken the 3 shots. He's hit 2 of them, but his job is certainly to distribute to the rest of this team. They're in touch distance, but if I'm Coach Rob Beveridge, I'd like to see my squad make a little bit of a run here in the 3rd quarter.
Maybe it has to be someone like Helu off the bench. Bring that energy, bring that just lift in tempo.
Whoa, that's a heck of a possession.
It's like he passed it to himself about 3 times in that play. Belger, same spot, same results.
Transition defense, 2 players run to the ball, nobody runs to the next guy. Belger takes his time, and just like that is up to 8 points and 10 assists.
Sharks retake the lead. We could be in for one of these final 15 minutes or so with multiple lead changes.
NZNBL hears the whistle and doesn't get the shot up afterwards. Instead passes it off. Could have been a 3-point opportunity. Instead, that'll be ball on the sideline. $20 points for Deshaun Knight, leading from the front for the Sharks. Josh Cunningham has been stuck on 17 for a mighty long time now. He is not getting a lot of the ball in hand here in the 2nd half.
And I think he had a good chunk of that 17 in the 1st quarter. Inside they go. Temada. Nice reverse.
Just a good job showing patience underneath. The double came, but he avoided it by going the other direction.
Burton. Cohen Portzor, mismatch on Bazant, elected to pass to Winger.
I would have liked to see Don Kamapoto just take his time and really go at Jake Bazant there, force a double to come before he passes it off.
He started to back him down, didn't he? And then gave up on it halfway. McCulloch. Vital that the likes of Nikau McCulloch can contribute off the bench. Unable to make an open look at three. Is that 3 times? It is 3 times in a row. Same spot, same result, Belgium.
Hasn't missed a 3-pointer yet. Maybe that's all he should shoot. 12 points for him now. Coming alive here in the second half.
Daniels. And he responds.
Showing some depth with the stroke. Out beyond the 3-point line. Scores his 18th point of the ball game.
And we are seeing the lead change, if not with every basket, every second or third possession. Certainly a chance now for the Jets to add to that 1-point lead. Andre Daniels on the arc. Coleman Portzor at least got there to stop an easy route to the basket.
Really loving the energy from DeAndre Daniels. He's sitting now on 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks, and hasn't come out of the game as of yet. And what a performance for him to really carry this Jets team to the point they're at now.
Yeah, relying heavily on their imports and their starters generally, the Manawatu Jets, but it's paying off for them right now. Tim McTamney, a little animated there, but that's not unusual. Tim's usually got a bit to say.
That is an understatement. But he's got to feel pretty good about where the Jets are right now. They've matched the intensity. They've brought their level of play up. He has some judicious use of the timeouts, I think, coming here in the remainder of this game to ensure his guys get enough rest to be able to keep that intensity up on the defensive end. Rob Beveridge, on the other hand, I really do think it's all about execution for these guys at this point. When they're getting their open looks and they're patient with the basketball, they've been really solid and efficient on the offensive end. When they don't do that, things really slide downhill quickly.
Yeah, and we don't have microphones in the huddles here tonight, folks, but I can imagine Rob Beveridge, if he hasn't delivered the message already tonight, that he will do so. That, hey, 7 in a row, guys, get out of your comfort zone here. You're in a ball game against a Jets team that is bringing it to you. Forget where they are on the table. You are in a contest.
Well, also, you know, the Sharks have really looked at this back end of the season, as we see Daniels missed the first one, as their opportunity to take control of the league. They've had more games on the road than anybody else. This is just their 4th home game of the season. They can protect their home court. They can dominate this second half of this stretch of the year and really look like a top-tier #1 seed. But right now, hands filled with the Jets lineup.
And again, don't forget, folks, get onto the New Zealand Basketball website and find the link through to the story to vote for the NBL Showdown, the upcoming Sports Awards. Every vote counts in that contest, as that's why, Casey Frank, you want to see him go to work there more often.
Most definitely. I think that's going to force the defense to change their options, and I just don't think the Jets can guard him down low. Speaking of not being able to guard them down low.
Yeah, through some contact and showed good composure.
Continues to be the leading scorer in the game. Loves that mid-range jump shot.
Burton kicks it out. Another pass. And then the drive, the penetration. That's good from the Sharks.
Nice recognition by Belger that the second line of the defense wasn't stepping up there. Timona needs to step outside the key to cut that off. The late challenge is not good enough.
Sean Knight looking like he wants to play a little one-on-one basketball. Does kick it out now for McCulloch. Good defense here from the Sharks. McCulloch with a look from 3. A long way out. And misses by a reasonable margin. McKinley with the heave-ho back into the court. And with a... Oh, wow. Well, he knew it was bad because he chased the rebound. He got lucky off the glass.
It's never bad when it goes in. Ash McQueen heads up play in transition to force the steal, and McCulloch full of confidence before that went in. Hopefully it continues.
Burton. Cunningham down low. Good defense, Tamata. Second look at it for Galuli. Nice move to the basket, finish with the right hand.
Nash McQueen sidesteps defensively, much more of a defender normally. Poor job there of cutting off penetration lanes.
Knight, some good handles. Good D though, stayed in front of him, did Belger. Cunningham off the foot, that'll be Jets ball, will it?
Well, the hustle is rewarded, the last second shot. Not a lot of play going on, the one-on-one basketball in the half court hasn't been where the Jets have found their success. It's been working in transition, but in the half court they're gonna have to find a different answer to the test they're taking right now.
Jack McKinley back on the floor for the Jets. Knights, McQueen from the corner. Comes up short, rebound Cunningham. Every play, every scramble, vital in a score that is so close. Here's Johnny Helu.
Well, a nice penetration again. And once again, that second line of defense for the Jets, not where it needs to be.
Another lead change. Sharks, another lead change. Here come the Jets.
McCulloch, excellent penetration in transition, and the explosiveness of Shane Temeda on display. Once again, one of the most athletic players in the league.
Almost into the final 60 seconds of the third. And this is a long way from being decided. Johnny Helu off the good screen. Good read.
Well, his energy has been infectious off the bench. He's up to 9 points now and shooting 4 for 6 from the field.
Sharks a little pressure up the floor as well, and they get a result from it. Chance now here for a 2-for-1. Oh, just took his eyes off it. Deshaun Knight comes up with it. The dish for Temeda, who again slams it home.
Timeout to the Sharks to discuss the issues in execution. Had a fast break opportunity. Deshaun Knight with the quickness makes it go the other direction. And Shane Temeda with another athletic flush and finish over the rim. He's up to 18 points. It's all the starters. They have all but 5 of the points. And Jane Bazant with 10, 20 for Deshaun Knight, 21 for DeAndre Daniels, and 18 for Shane Temeda.
And Shane had a pretty impressive stat line in that big win over the Bulls. 34 points, 13 boards, 5 assists. And in what was a bit of a one-sided romp, to be fair, if he can put up anything like that against the Sharks, and of course, if they can get the win, that will be a huge contribution.
And I think the Sharks have to come out of this timeout and know where they're getting their points from. They haven't been consistent in their execution here in the second half. They haven't been consistently going to the well where they need to get water from. They've been struggling a little bit from the perimeter. If I'm Coach Rob Beveridge, I'm telling them to get back inside, try and force these officials to blow some whistles and get to the free throw line, something we have not seen a lot of yet. The Sharks only 2 free throw attempts, the Jets 6. So this has been a game where the refs are happy to let them play up and down.
.30 seconds left in the third, all tied up at 76 apiece. Helu on the curl, somehow he got it and then he gave it away again. Symptomatic of the last couple of minutes. They might have one look here. Do they adjust, Casey Frank? You said they didn't get it right at the end of the second,
Smart.
but they got it right here.
It's always good to learn a lesson.
Should be the last look of the quarter. From the corner, comes up short. They might get another quick look here. Oh, goodness me, that buzzer went. That buzzer went.
Yeah, it's been called no good by the officiating crew, and I believe that is the right call. They might have a little chat about it.
Yeah, certainly the buzzer didn't seem to be in unison with the actual clock ticking away. But let's go with the buzzer and say that that was the case. Tim McTamney's asking the question. They won't count it.
Either way, we got excitement on tap for the fourth quarter, all tied up at 76.
And the team from the Hicks has got some NZNBL t-shirts to fire up. Anyone in the right half of the team want a t-shirt? Hello.
Like breaking new ground. stand up for what you believe in. But when it comes to pizza, you can't beat authenticity. Sal's Authentic New York Pizza.
Sal's National League, presented by GJ Gardner Homes, and we got a little something special on the boil here in Southland. Certainly it looked as though it was going to be rather one-sided after that 31-17 opening quarter for the Sharks, but the Jets came back into it with 35 of their own in the second, and since then, Casey Frank, it has been toe-to-toe.
The seesaw battle continues here into the fourth. I really do like the cut of the jib of this Jet squad. They have short memories. They continue the effort. They continue the intensity, and they're not taking L for an answer. They're consistently looking out for W's. We want to see a jam finger there.
Cunningham. Could be a little painful.
Pop that left hand.
Just expand a little on what you said at the end of the third. Sharks should slow things down. They should go to their strengths, inside?
Definitely. I think they need to find a way, especially for that second or third big, to really take advantage on the interior. That's where they found a lot of success in that first quarter. They've gone away from it. They've fallen in love with the three-point shot, and they're not shooting the ball particularly well. They're 9 for 19 from three. Keep shooting the tray ball. But it doesn't seem like it. Only 2 free throw attempts, though, and that is a testament to a lack of aggression on the rim. They're not searching out the contact, not forcing the refs to blow that whistle and make the call.
Crowd needs to play their part for the Sharks. The Jets need to just put it out of their minds. And that's a good way to quieten them down. DeAndre Daniels, absolute superstar.
And 3 for 4 from the three-point line now. He is off to a great start here in the fourth quarter. 24 points for him now.
A whistle on the play, and that's what it's not necessarily the guy you were talking about, but that's what you're talking about. Draw the contact.
Well, wherever it is, you got to keep on that pressure on the rim, force the refs to blow the whistle, and despite the fact that it's been a bit of a track meet up to this point, in the fourth quarter, sometimes the players get a little bit tighter, but more often than not, the officials do, and they'll start to call it with a little bit tighter than they had been up into that point, especially if you're the Sharks in your home court. Bulger hits the first to draw it to within 2.
It's a little worse for Weir as well. After that foul, hit the deck pretty hard, but regains his composure. Just cuts that margin down to 1. The Jets still lead it.
He's been extremely efficient, but only picked up the 2 assists in that third quarter there.
Oh my goodness me.
Feeling it. 27 points. He is 10 for 13 from the field, 77%. Give that man the basketball.
And they're like playing with a 10-second shot clock, the Jets. They are fast-paced in everything they do, and Belger goes to work again.
He has been so efficient. He is not known as a scorer for this team, but he is taking that crown on his head when they need it most right now.
Deshaun Knight takes on all 5. Maybe should have just gone 4 and then passed.
Discretion is normally the better part of valor.
Elu. Let's open the door here for the Sharks to level up or take the lead with a 3-ball. Giluli, McKinlay, plenty of contact, and might have been the first hit that led to the whistle on the second hit.
Well, McKinlay needs to know who he's closing out to there. Really closed out so long that forced Giluli into the drive when that really is his preference. And McKinlay with that strength, he's got to be thinking drive and a late contest. Instead, we see the 3rd and 4th attempts from the free throw line for the Sharks this evening.
Yeah, suddenly it's a factor. Suddenly it's on the script. Giluli with another to level it up at 82 apiece. Can he? No. They get the rebound though. Giluli, goes to the hoop, looking for the call. Nothing going his way. Jets lead it by 1.
Oh, let it fly. Oh, he checked moment. I appreciate it.
don't know that will stop him shooting somehow tonight. He's been given free license and another foul call. Casey Frank, it's like you've been in this game for 25 years or so. You wrote this chapter.
Well, it's you know, when you see the game go in a certain direction and you're looking at yourself as a home court, you got to realize that you got to pick up that aggressiveness, and I think the Sharks have done a good job of that. 3 fouls now already in the quarter, only 2 away from bonus free throws the rest of the way.
Suddenly a little bump, sees a whistle. Belger, he's recognized that, so he wants to draw some contact. Goes inside and out now and shoots. That's not a good look for him. It's one thing when he's got his feet set and plenty of time, but I'm not sure about a contested 3. Jets now, Deshaun Knight. Daniels. Sharks well set on defense here. Bazant just has to put a prayer up.
Not getting a lot of penetration. Sharks doing a good job of cutting off the lane and forcing a difficult shot on that possession. Now a chance to take the lead back.
Inside they go. Daniels trying to defend Kelman Porto, and again there's a whistle that we might not necessarily have had in the first half.
No, there's no way that whistle was blown in the first half, but the tide has turned on the Jets. They're going to have to be a better defense, and I think Daniels probably fortunate with that foul there. That looked like great position for Don Kamapoto, and that's the 4th team foul on the Jets. So free throws the rest of the way for the Sharks.
Kelman Porto. Right, he gets a sniff and he's gone. And a follow from Galuli, tried to jam it home. And what have they called here?
Oh, they're calling an offensive goaltend.
Caught too much of the hoop.
Yeah, he's hanging on the rim and pops the ball out and gets the rebound. So not allowed to do that. Fantastic effort by Galuli. I didn't know he had that athleticism in him.
Yeah, he showed some hops, but couldn't finish.
And I'm not just saying that he's a white guy.
Oh, dear. Oh, wow. Cunningham. And he turns and gives him a little reminder. Belger. That is a big 15 seconds for the Sharks. They take the lead and they just put a little energy into the crowd.
Well, Belger has awakened here in the 4th quarter. He has been brilliant. 19 points now for him as he gives the Sharks the lead for the first time in a long time. 19 points, 10 assists. Courtney Belger, he has really turned the tide here in the 4th quarter with his aggressiveness on the rim.
And I like that from Cunningham. I know that the rules these days, the officials, they don't want you to stare, they don't want you to look, they don't want you to glance in the wrong direction. But when you've blocked like that, of course you want to give him a little bit of a stare down.
Let him know about it.
Bazant. They just got themselves quite static all of a sudden, the Jets. Kelman Porto rams it home. Sets off the fireworks, the pyrotechnics, and the Sharks are starting to look like they've woken up well and truly.
Look at this aggressiveness defensively. Much different to what we saw in the 3rd quarter.
And that is a look they will live with, the Sharks. Tamata. There's just not much going on off the ball, Casey Frank. The Jets, have they hit the wall?
Yeah, they're looking a little bit fatigued at this point. If I'm Tim McTammany, I might be thinking about a timeout right here. This is a key possession as Jaden Bazant took a knee to the thigh, but he's young. Rub some dirt on it, he'll be fine. But it's the guys I'm worried about is Deshaun Knight and DeAndre Daniels. They need to find some wind here in the 4th quarter with 6 minutes to go. This is winning time. They need a bucket here, I think, to stem the tide.
Still right in it, and this would level it up again, and he does. DeAndre Daniels answers. Wow, who says I got tired legs?
30 points, 9 rebounds. He is carrying the load as he ties the game with his 5th triple of the game.
Can he triple-double with blocks? Is he still on 4?
He's still on 4.
Okay.
Anything's possible, though. You triple-double while you're trying to get somebody to match Sam Timmons last night.
Oh, wow.
The first triple-double of the season. Assist for the big fella.
Yeah.
Who said big men don't pass?
He is having a heck of a season. And one word that's been spoken about Sam Timmons, one of many, is durable. That he's there week in, week out, and showing that he's got his body in good shape.
Well, he did miss a game earlier this season.
Well, one. God, give the guy one game off.
What is week in, week out? As we see Don Kamapoto head to the free throw line, and this has been the difference here in the 4th quarter. They've already gotten 4 points from the line, looking to extend it. There's the 5th.
On a serious note on that, though, Casey, want to see Jack Salt back out there. I hope the big man's not too far away. He has had some issues over the past couple of years, and still some lingering issues, it seems, this season. But Jack, if you're watching, I hope you're not too far away from getting the kicks back on and getting out on the hardwood.
It's really unfortunate. Jack's a great guy, a hard worker. Unfortunately, his body is betraying him a little bit this season as he tries to find his way back into it. As Jaden Bazant forces the ball in, and Dom Kamapoto doing it on both ends.
Belger. You just sense here if either team, and there's an early whistle, and it's not a good foul. And now they pay the price for these early fouls because Bazant, they're tired, just hooks the arm, doesn't defend well, and the foul puts the Sharks on the line.
Unfortunate for the Jets that basket did not count, but Alonzo Burton, one of the premier free throw shooters, not just for the Sharks, but in the competition. He will be looking to knock down 2 here and double the Sharks' lead.
I was about to say, in the sense that a 2 or 3 bucket lead is crucial here with just 5 minutes to play and could break the back of either side, especially though the Jets, who we sense might be starting to see those energy levels just dwindle away a little.
As we see Bazant head to the bench, McCulloch gets another runner, as does Ashton McQueen.
Knight on Kelman Portal. He goes around the bigger man and gets the roll.
Oh, lovely big basket there, and they really needed that to stop the bleeding and ensure that the Sharks didn't start walking away with this one.
Belger from the elbow, and the rebound, the follow-up from Kelman Portal.
That is a sign of fatigue. They get the stop, no box out. Kelman Portal's motor still high in the RPMs.
Knight, this is just happening a lot now, isn't it? He's just putting his head down.
Oh my, foul called. Deshaun Knight forces the action, is bailed out by Melanie O'Connor there. I thought that looked like excellent defense from the angle I had. Deshaun Knight's got a smile on his face. I think he knows that's a big fish that got let off the hook right before it got into the boat.
Yeah, I didn't see Rob Beveridge smiling.
Oh, he's a coach. Coaches never smile. Actually, Bevo's one of the few. He has a little bit of a banter during the game. But coaches, even when things are going well, they're not going that well.
He certainly wasn't happy with that call at a crucial moment as well, with that margin 4 for the Sharks. That could have been their opportunity. Get the stop, go down the other end and extend it out to 6 or 7. But the free throws means it's likely here the Jets are going to be trailing by just 2.
Deshaun Knight looking for point number 24, and he gets it there.
Still anyone's game here in the Sal's National Basketball League. Sharks looking to make it 8 wins in a row. From outside, Kelman Porto again on, then loses it. Good hands, McQueen.
Ashton McQueen, premier defender for the Jets.
Burton gets a hand in the way of the McQueen pass. Still have time on the shot clock here, though.
And that's a shot I think Ashton McQueen needs to look at on the wing. We've seen a lot of reluctance from the bench to get into the scoring action. Only 2 players have taken shots, and that's McCullough and McQueen.
Oh, yeah, that's a half-court violation, and it kind of wasn't. I don't even think it was a 50-50 pass from McCullough. I think it was kind of 40-60, not in his favor.
Yeah, he's running out of time there, but how about this 4th quarter from Courtney Belger? He has been phenomenal. 7 for 11 from the field, 19 points, 3 for 4 from the three-point line, those 10 assists. It is just, what a performance from the point guard.
A little more concern showing on the Jets bench. Kelman Porto inside, beautiful finish.
Oh, I love to see him with the catches inside, up to 22 points now. Another efficient day for him. 10 for 14 from the field. The Sharks grinding it out here in the 4th quarter.
Jets with Daniels. Has he had a break yet, Casey?
He has not. And don't expect one anytime soon. I think that's called before the shot, I believe. So it'll be ball on the baseline.
It's a rare quiet moment in the gym. It has been buzzing. This place going off. The team has found themselves in an absolute backyard scrap.
Well, the Jets not sure what they're running. Figuring it out eventually, though.
Takes a while to get into the hands of Knight. Shot clock counting down on Kelman Portor from the free throw line.
He just does such a good job of creating that space at his happy spot, which is about 14 right inside the key. He elevates, he hits, despite solid defense.
Still just the 2 points in it. Belger. He's been very efficient. And of course, on cue, misses. Bazant. Tamara has not really featured, has he? He's had a couple of dunks second half, but certainly not the same productivity as the first. McQueen with the bounce pass for Daniels. They'll have 9 seconds on the shot clock here, the Jets.
I'm not sure Sunlight could have gotten through that crack. He tried to push that basketball through, but fortunate for him, it goes off of Sharks' hands. As the Jets, despite an inspired fourth quarter by the Sharks, continue to hang around.
Bazant. Shot clock down to 5. Are they aware? 3, 2. Oh, late call.
Smart heads-up play by DeAndre Daniels there. Had the contact coming into him in the shooting motion, so he should get 2 free throws. No, ball on the side. I am incorrect.
Well, certainly it was a foul that bailed them out a little. That shot clock was down to 2 seconds. They get another fresh 14. Knight. It is incredible. They're holding in there, aren't they? One basket here and they can take the lead. All level it up.
Oh, how did that basket not find itself in the net? Unlucky roll there by Deshaun Knight.
Burton. Kelman Portor crashes the boards, but instead crashes into a Jet.
And I believe that'll be free throws. Is that the 5th personal? Yes, it is. So not only is it a foul on Don Kelman Portor 90 feet from the basket, but it takes away the need for the Jets to execute on the offensive end and gifts the scoring opportunity to the Jets when they've been struggling to convert those opportunities on in the half court.
Well, have they just taken some of the Sharks' best punches here and found a second win, the Jets, because it really did look like momentum was very much in favour of the home side, but the Jets are somehow right in it, and with a made free throw here, they level it up.
Oh, big free throw there. A pair of them, actually. And now up to 32 points is DeAndre Daniels. He has been ultra efficient as well. 10 rebounds to go along with those 4 blocks and 2 assists. Hasn't come off the court yet.
A little shout out from a man you and I know, Gavin Cross, sending well wishes and enjoying the call, the commentary.
At least there's one. Always, if I find one out there, I'm pumped. What up, Gav? Hope everything is well.
Certainly a lot to enjoy right around the country, and the coverage just keeps coming at you right across every weekend. It's such a great progression for the Sal's National League, and much of it on the back of that showdown that captured headlines around the world last year, and that momentum's just carried on, and great to see teams generating great support in their communities, and the league is alive and well.
And what's been great to see is how that next generation of Hooper has really grabbed the opportunity they were given last year and capitalized it on this season. You know, this because of the crossover with the Aussie NBL, we've seen some of the top tier talent unable to come back or reluctant to do so because of the shortness and the break between seasons, and that has really enabled that next generation of Kiwi Hooper to come out and stamp their mark on the league as that next generation of superstar that's going to be delivering for the nation's Hoopers.
Yeah, I think it'd be fascinating, Casey, and you're usually on panels that choose the likes of all-star teams and MVPs and what have you, but I'd fancy a look at an all-star teenage lineup out of this league. I think that'd be a pretty handy side.
I'll tell you what, there's there'd be even a pretty solid under-17 squad going on.
Who wins this one? Who has a little magic in the last 2 minutes? Belger. Both teams have just had a breather. They can reset. Belger's like that spot. He loves that spot. So do the fans.
Well, decent challenge, but they drew it up and took the shot that they wanted. Courtney Belger has shown great confidence in the jumper here in the second half.
DeAndre Daniels shut down by Kelman Porto. Shut down big time. The big DKP unit all over Daniels. Fighting for the rebound. Daniels gets it, puts it in.
What a possession for him. Draws it to within one. He's been fantastic, creating the scoring opportunity, then went and got it and fed himself.
Burton, Sharks still, courtesy of that 3 ball from Belger, have a 1-point lead. And Belger has been the go-to guy. Cunningham onto the floor. Up fake, gets 2 Jets in the air. What a takeoff. Draws the foul and will go to the line.
Well, Josh Cunningham still sitting on 17 points. It's been a while since his last one. The work hasn't stopped, though. 12 rebounds, all on the defensive end. The 3 assists as well. A solid performance, but he's become the forgotten man offensively. He's hoping he hasn't lost that touch as he shoots these free throws that are key for the Sharks.
So 17 at the half for Cunningham.
And, 17 cents.
He's ended that conversation.
Well, he just hasn't had, the ball has just not found him. You know, haven't gone back to the post until here in the fourth quarter, and that's mostly been to DKP, but shows no signs of rust on the first free throw.
Yep, makes the second money, as the little sound effect would suggest. McKinley, not sure they want the ball in the hands of McKinley. There's no pressure up the floor from the Sharks. It's a nervy little moment there, Burton, almost the thief in the night. Deshaun Knight kicks it out, 3 ball. The youngster McKinley can't make it.
Excellent look. McKinley couldn't convert. Now it comes to D.
Oh, is this a dagger? Oh, Alonzo Burton. That is cruel. That is heartless. That is brilliant.
Well, transition basketball, and the Jets, when the Sharks on the rare occasion have pushed it up with a lot of speed, the Jets have struggled to match up in transition and get that communication going on the defensive end. That's only magnified by the time and game the guys have been out there, that are out there now, have been out for a lot of minutes. And certainly fatigue might have played its part there, and the most inopportune time for the Jets fans.
This has been a hell of a contest, and we've got a hell of a 60 seconds still to come. There's a long time to go and a short distance to make up here for the Jets in a basketball context. Get a good look here. No panic yet, Casey. Just get a good look at the basket.
Oh, this is a 2-possession ball game. You know, you get the ball up at half court. It doesn't need to be a 3 just yet, but you got to get a bucket here, and then you got to play good, solid defense. You can't have another open look like that. It's all about a quick score, but you want to be quick but not in a hurry. You can't force it. Take the opportunities that they come, but it's got to be a good quality shot.
Let's have a look, see what they've drawn up here. Who do they go to?
Well, it's certainly going to be a 2-man game between Deshaun Knight and DeAndre Daniels. And see what comes out of that here in the fourth quarter. That is where they've been going, hunting completely in the second half, and they're going to hope to bring food back one more time.
The volume is cranked up just about off the dial here. ILT Stadium, Southland, they went looking for a 3, a bit of a prayer. And Casey Frank, on with you. I'm not sure they needed that. Out of a timeout.
Could have gotten something better. That's a shot Jaden Bazant can get at any point in time. Would have liked to look for something of a better, higher quality.
Sharks could put this to bed here. 6 points. Can they make a bucket? Extend, and there'll only be 30-odd seconds left. No, they get an air ball, they get a rebound. Kick it back out. Didn't catch the hoop. Shot clock violation.
Josh Cunningham sheds Jaden Bazant. Gets the rebound, but also gets a turnover with the shot clock. Only 2 seconds left when he caught it. So, one final desperate opportunity here for the Jets with just under 30 seconds. Now, you got to get a quick shot.
You knew where I was going. Now, what do they need? It's either quick or a 3.
Yeah, now is where you're looking for something like what Jaden Bazant had in that last timeout. certainly need to get something within the first 4 or 5 seconds. And if that shot clock gets under, or the game clock, sorry, gets under 24 seconds, then you're going to look for the initial steal on the inbounds. And if you don't get that right away, you got to foul, got to send the Sharks to the line.
And of course, games changed a little bit in the last couple of years inside this final 30 seconds or so. If you are desperate to foul, you got to make sure it's a good attempt at the ball.
Yeah, it's made things difficult on the players who surprisingly have been slow to adjust. But it's a lesson that will continue to be drilled in them at the end of game situations. But you just got to make a play for that basketball. Can't just grab guys from behind. And certainly appreciate the thought, if not always the execution of the call.
Sal's NBL serves up another delightful slice of basketball action. Really has been a thriller here. And a busy weekend of action coming your way as well. What have the Jets got? Deshaun Knight didn't pull up for the 3, drives, good contact in there in a defensive sense, and the Sharks get the stop. And this is their game to take away. Goodness me, Alonzo Burton feeling it. He says, who cares about running the clock down?
I'll put one nail in the coffin, and here's the second. This game is well and truly in the cooler now.
Well, and 9-point margin, it really doesn't do the Jets justice. They have fought so hard to stay in the contest. After a fairly shocking first quarter, it has to be said. But the Sharks are going to get the win here, make it 8 in a row, and continue their run at the top of the Sal's National League ladder. But the Jets have contributed plenty to this one. What a night, what a game, what a lot of fun here again. But it is the Sharks who get the job done, 104-97.
Well, a really nice fourth quarter by the Sharks there to take control of the basketball game. Down the stretch, they executed at a higher level than did the Manawatu Jets, and tip of the cap to the Jets, who showed a lot of effort, especially coming back from a big early deficit on the road. Is not an easy thing to do. Put themselves in position to steal one on the road, but in the end, it was the Sharks who stole it right back.
Well, I asked you the question at the start of this coverage, Casey. Is this the litmus test for the Jets? Does this show whether they're contenders or pretenders? They lost, but I think they're contenders. Do you know what I mean? They've matched it with one of the best sides going around at the moment.
No, it's certainly something that they can build off of. You know, they've been playing much better basketball as of late, and if you took away some of those issues that they had in the first quarter, lack of intensity, lack of execution, they would have had a much better shot at this one. But as it was said, a great performance by both teams, as we see the leading scorers there.
Yeah, and essentially for the Jets, it's their starting lineup. McCulloch sneaked in there with 5, but contributions are huge from their imports. Tamata had 20, but he went quiet in the second half. Bazant just the 10. Rebounds.
Cunningham dominant on the glass, and DeAndre Daniels does a good job as well. Shane Temeta solid in performance. Dom Kamapoto another double-double, and he has been racking those up with regularity.
As we look at some of the key numbers that led to this scoreline, the assist count. Look at the 2 American point guards dishing it off like there was no tomorrow. Belger was superb, and he had, I think, 8 of those assists very early, and then he went into scoring mode.
Yeah, 8 at halftime, and then really took over offensively in the fourth quarter. Deshaun Knight, excellent as well, sharing the basketball. And then we see the blocks led by DeAndre Daniels, who is the chairman of the boards and the blocks as well, as the Sharks get their 7th win in a row and are just rolling at the moment.
Yeah, and they'll be pleased to have come away with that W here, playing at home. We've mentioned that they've got a good run of home games in the second half of the season, but they're only good if you can get the job done, and they've done that tonight. It's been an absolute thriller. The fans have loved it. They'll go home buzzing. You know they'll be back again, and here they are now, the kids getting the autographs and the selfies, and still the fireworks are going off here in the stadium. It's a lot of fun as the players greet and meet now with the fans. This is what's to come across the weekend. Saturday doubleheader, Hawks, Nuggets, Huskies and the Bulls. And on to Sunday, the Airs and the Rams. Rams need to get a win there. They've been struggling of late, so too the Airs. And the Saints and the Jets. So the Jets proven they can compete with top of the table. Can they do it against one of the very best going around in the Saints?
Well, this road double doesn't get any tougher than the Saints and the Sharks on the road. A close miss in round one. What do they do in round two?
So the Jets with another big challenge in front of them. They've got 24 hours off, a day off to prepare, recover from this one, and have a think about that. Go back to the old drawing board, as they say, and get the scout done on the Saints. The Saints, who we've heard in the last couple of days, Jordan Nartai won't be joining them, but Leon Henry comes out of retirement.
Not a bad consolation for us.
More interesting news around the Sal's National League. On behalf of Casey Frank and the entire team, it's been a delight, especially if you're a Sharks fan. They win it here tonight at home over the Jets.